Alright guys, 413 Bros back for another video. Today is part 3. We are going to be putting this car back together. Part 1, we took it apart. Part 2, we did just the timing chain. Part 3, we're going to put it back together and pray to God it starts. So, yeah, I guess let's just go into it. So, first things first, I have all the timing done. I've got everything tight. So now it's just I have to finish cleaning the timing cover and then bolt it on and torque everything in, but they don't make a gasket for the timing cover. So you have to RTV it back on. So I'm going to have to get that. I'm going to go through, get all of it prepped, and then I will bolt it on, and then I'll go over exactly what I did and everything with you. Alright, watch the hyperlapse. Alright, so we're about halfway done. I know it's only about 1 minute and 30 seconds of hyperlapse, but it's roughly been an hour and a half. I've gotten a lot done. This is going together way faster than it came apart. So, first thing I did was I RTV'd the timing cover. You can see all the blue. Put extra on there. I really wanted it to seal good because I don't want to have to do this again. So, as it was before, there's 2 12s here, there's 3 12s on that side, a bunch of 10s and 12s all the way up. I just hand torqued them. I didn't go to a torque spec. It's aluminum on aluminum. You can't go too tight as it is, so I got a pretty good hand feeling for this. I'm a machinist anyway, so kind of know what I'm torquing it to, so they're all torqued pretty good. I put this side of the motor mount back on. Because that goes right into the timing cover, into the block, so that's whole timing cover sealed. There's 4 screws from the oil pan up, which I'll go under there and show you guys that. I put those 4 in, torqued those. I also put the AC compressor bracket back on, torqued those couple bolts there. Put the belt back on, put the pulleys back on. Pretty much everything underneath the car is done. So, yeah, the timing cover, pretty much everything involving that is done. So, the only thing I have left to do is finish this motor mount. That way I can, take the jack off of the oil pan, which is kind of scary. And then I got to put the valve cover back on and torque that back together, so I gotta look up the torquing spec for that, at least the pattern, and then just put the intake and the battery back in, and then I have to wait 24 hours for this RTV to dry. So tomorrow afternoon I should be able to put the fluids back in, hook the battery up, and turn it on and see how it goes. So like I said, all that's done. I had to put the water pump pulley back on. That was a nightmare. That took me about 20-25 minutes alone. There's 3 10mm bolts on there. It's just with the frame right there, it's just there's no room. So that's pretty much all I've done so far are the pulleys, the timing cover, this side of the motor mount. So I'm gonna finish the motor mount now, and then just gotta work up here and start putting this shit back together. So, all right, back to it. Alright guys, I think I'm just about done. We were mocking up some stuff. There's some stuff we want to do to this car, so while I had it apart we were just looking at it. But we got the valve cover back on, the high pressure fuel pump back on. That's just 2 10mm bolts. There's 20 10mm bolts for the valve cover that need to be torqued between 2.5 and 5 foot-pounds. It's, I think, 2.8 to 4.8. So I have this Milwaukee tool. It's adjustable, and it's on the low end, it's 5 foot-pounds. So that's what I did it at. I just tightened it with that. I snugged it up a little bit more, just because it's a new gasket, so it's going to slightly shrink. But it'll should be good. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to start it until tomorrow, which will be in the same video, but for me it'll be tomorrow. But we got the motor mount back on, valve cover, got all the lines hooked back up, the alternator hooked back up. That was one 12mm screw for the ground, and then just a plug. 14mm bolts that go all the way through it. That's what you saw with the hammer. I had to tap it back in. It's extremely tight. But I got the intake set up back in. That's basic. 2 10mm bolts here. 2 10mm bolts way down there. Just a screw to tighten it. Hoses go back on. It was pretty straightforward. Oh, I still have to tighten this one. So, you got to remember your grounds. That's the biggest thing that most people forget. There's a ground right here. And there's a ground right here. You have to remember to put those back on, otherwise you will mess some shit up. But that is pretty much it. Got the battery back in. I have to hook it back up and we'll test it. So, like I said, I can't do anything until tomorrow, but tomorrow will be in like 5 seconds for you guys. So, see you then. Alright guys, I'm back to go over the car one last time. Here are the keys. In the last part of the video I said I was going to come back and show you guys how it started and how it ran to see if it would start. Needless to say, I got sidetracked and haven't had time to do that. So we've actually been driving on the car for about a week now. and put a couple hundred miles on, and it's running perfect. Passed inspection, and let me fire it up. All my check engine lights went away, everything. She is running top notch now, so here she is. So that little bit of ticking noise you hear, that's right here. It's the high pressure fuel pump. For some reason, they all make that noise, but you can see the blue gasket. Driving in a week, not leaking oil, nothing. Let me get out of the sunlight here. But yeah, she's running amazing. So thanks for watching the video. If you have, this fixed the car. It's running so much better now. There's a couple other things we need to do to it. Now I can feel that the turbo is worn for sure. When I was underneath it, I checked it. The turbine wasn't loose yet. The ball bearings were still good, but you can feel driving it, it's not perfect anymore. So probably in a couple months I will be replacing that, but that'll be another video for this car. We have a lot planned for this thing, and I love that car. It's running great now, and we've got one payment left, and that's paid off, and we plan on keeping it quite a while because it's a beautiful car. Look at it. Look how gorgeous she is. I'm thinking 1.5 inches lowering springs. Bring it down. Gotta do a good polish on it. Gotta fix the mirror caps. So there's gonna be a little bit of work, but she's a gorgeous car that runs great. I know a lot of people have issues with this motor. So far, that's the only thing I've had, but 155,000 miles and just having to do the timing chain now, I'm happy with it. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comment, and I'll help you out best I can. Thanks, guys.